Hey everyone, your host here. Today we're tackling a legend, the story of the Yellow Emperor, one of the founding fathers of Chinese civilization. But the version we're looking at, it's got spaceships, laser battles. Seriously, this comes straight from a novel manuscript, and we're gonna bring it to life, text-to-speech style. Let's roll. Hey, picture this. The year is 2697 BC. We're in the heartland of ancient China, then called Huaxia, and it's one heck of a night. Dark clouds are churning, lightning's cracking across the sky, thunder's booming. You just know something major is about to happen. Inside the main tent on Suanyuan Hill, the big man himself, the Yellow Emperor, Huangdi, is deep in discussion with his ministers. They're gathered around a crackling fire, trying to figure out how to stop the growing threat from the Ju legions. Your Majesty, one minister reports, his voice heavy with worry. Qi, Yu has rallied the 9 lead tribes. His army is 3 times the size of ours, and even scarier, they've got some kind of tech. They can create a poisonous fog right there on the battlefield. Huangdi sinks into thought, about to speak, when suddenly, bam, hurried footsteps pound outside. A guard bursts into the tent, face pale with fear, dropping to one knee. Your Majesty, a fire dragon. It fell from the sky to the northwest, out near the fields of banquet. Chaos erupts in the tent, but Huangdi, he's decisive. He stands up, throws on his animal skin cloak. Sound the alert. Assemble my personal guard. We're going to check this out. So, under the cover of that stormy night, Huangdi leads 20 of his toughest warriors, torches held high, pushing northwest. In the distance, they see it, an eerie, pulsing blue light cutting through the darkness, lighting up half the sky. When they finally reach the Bangquan field, well, what they see stops every single one of them dead in their tracks, speechless. They're jammed deep into the earth. Is this massive metal disc? The ground all around it, seared, melted into a glassy substance from intense heat. This thing is huge, maybe 30 inches across. That's like 90 feet. And its surface, covered in these bizarre alien symbols they've never seen before, glowing with that strange blue light. The metal itself is impossibly smooth, like polished obsidian, but with absolutely no signs of being forged or hammered, like it just formed that way. What is that? One soldier stammers, his voice trembling. Huangdi steps forward cautiously, reaches out a hand, touches the metal surface, and get this, despite having just crashed down in a fiery blaze, the metal isn't hot. It's cold, a strange, unnatural, icy cold. This isn't a dragon, Huangdi murmurs, his sharp eyes gleaming with intellect. And it's nothing we know. This is a secret from the heavens, Tianji. For the next 3 days and nights, Huangdi orders a tight security perimeter set up around the crash site. Absolutely no one gets close. He personally leads the tribe's sharpest minds, the best craftsmen, the wisest sages, and they study this mystery disk around the clock. On the evening of the 3rd day, the tribe's most brilliant craftsman, a guy named Feng Ho, comes to Huangdi with their findings. Your Majesty, this object, it's definitely not from our world. It's material. It's hundreds of times stronger than our toughest bronze, yet it's light as a feather. And stranger still, there's a core component inside that pulses with light every 12 shichen. That's like every 24 hours in our time, almost like it's breathing. Feng Hu points to the symbols etched on the disc. These markings, they bear a striking resemblance to the celestial diagrams on the He Tuesday and Luo Shu scrolls, but they're different. I believe, Your Majesty, this might be writing from beyond the heavens. Huangdi ponders this. Are you saying this is a chariot of the gods? No, Your Majesty. Feng Hu shakes his head, looking serious. I think what whatever created this comes from somewhere even more distant than the gods we speak of. Look here. He points to a crack in the disk's hull. Through this opening, we can see incredibly complex systems of pipes inside, like some kind of energy conduit on these silent for a long moment, processing this incredible information. Then, suddenly, his eyes light up with fear, determination. Gather all the wise men and artisans. I have a very bold idea. For the next several months, the fields of Bangquan become a top secret workshop led by Huang Di himself. The brightest minds of the tribe work day and night, trying to understand and harness the power of this thing from the start. After countless trials, endless failures, they finally have a breakthrough. Your Majesty, we found a luminous body at the center of the disk. We're calling it the Star Core. Feng Hu reports, barely containing his excitement. It seems to be the power source for the entire device. And even more amazing, we've discovered that certain bronze alloys can actually channel this energy. Another craftsman named Ling Lun adds, we've also found that carving specific oracle bone script symbols onto certain points influences the energy flow. It's like it's a way to communicate with it, to control it. Huang Di listens intently, his face set like stone. Qin's armies are pressing closer to our lands. This is the opportunity heaven has given us. I've made my decision. We will reshape this disc, transform it into a mobile form, a weapon to help us defeat Qin. But, Your Majesty, Peng protests gently. We still know so little about it. Modifying it rashly could be. There's no time. Wanty cuts him off. We must act. Follow my designs. We will reshape it into the form of a dragon. The work is relentless. Day and night, the craftsmen skillfully reshape the disk's outer structure, giving it the awe-inspiring form of a Chinese dragon, a long, serpentine body, a majestic head, scales that shimmer. Inside, they carefully connect the star core to the bronze conduits, creating a primitive yet functional energy channeling system. Finally, on the night of the 13th full moon, the transformed creation, now named the Yinglong, the responding dragon, is ready for its first flight. Huang Di personally selects 3 of his bravest warriors to be the first pilots. These men volunteered, fully aware of the deadly risks, but standing tall with unwavering resolve. You, Huang Di tells them with great solemnity, will be the first heroes in history to ride the Sky Dragon. Your mission is vital. Scout G, use army to determine their location and formations. Bring back the intelligence you need for the decisive battle to come. Moonlight bathes the Beiquan field as the Yinglong rests silently, its metallic scales reflecting the silver glow. The 3 warriors climb into the cabin, hidden within the dragon's belly. Following their training, they activate the control system. At first, nothing happens. A nervous murmur ripples through the assembled crowd. Doubts begin to surface. Then, suddenly, boom! Asterisk. The Yinglong's eyes flash with that intense blue light. Then its scales, section by section, begin to shimmer and glow. A deep, resonant humming sound fills the air, making the very ground tremble slightly. It's alive, someone cries out from the crowd. Slowly, majestically, the Yinglong rises from the ground, hovering about 6 feet in the air. Then, with astonishing speed, it streaks forward, transforming into a bolt of blue light that shoots into the night sky, vanishing into the clouds within seconds. Huang Di watches it go, a determined, almost victorious smile playing on his lips. 3 days later, the Yinglong returns, Mission successful. They bring back critical intel. Qi's main force is camped on the Zhou plain, preparing for a massive offensive. Even more importantly, the pilots discover the weakness of Qi's dreaded poison fog generators. They need specific wind conditions to work effectively. Wang Di immediately draws up his battle plan. On the eve of the great battle, he addresses his commanders. Tomorrow's fight will decide the fate of Waxia. We will wield this gift from the heavens, but remember this: true victory comes from the unity of our people, from the courage in our hearts. The next day, the two armies face off on the vast Shual plain. Qi, whose forces, outnumbering Wang Di's 3 to 1, look menacing and unstoppable. As the battle begins, Qi plays his trump card, the poison fog attack. Thick, black, choking mist billows from special bronze cauldrons, drifting ominously towards Huang Ti's lines on the wind. Just as despair begins to set in reach. Asterisk, a sound like a dragon's cry cuts through the chaos. The Yinglong dives dramatically from the clouds. Energy from its star core shimmers around it, forming a protective shield as it plunges right into the heart of the poison fog, physically splitting the deadly cloud. Wind Arrow, Rainmaster, where are you? Qi roars in fury. In response, 2 figures in strange robes, powerful shamans, step forward and begin chanting, attempting to manipulate the winds and intensify the fog's effect. But Wang Di anticipated this. He deploys a special unit led by a female priestess named Ba. They carry unique bronze mirrors crafted from salvaged fragments of the original crashed disc. These mirrors have the incredible property of reflecting and amplifying the star core's energy. As Ba raises her mirror towards the heavens, zi, 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 dup, dup. Asterisk, a blinding beam of light shoots into the clouds, instantly vaporizing the unnatural storm clouds the shamans had gathered. Pure sunlight floods the battlefield. The poison fog rapidly dissipates under the intense light, and Qi's magic users find their powers nullifying. Seizing this critical moment, Huang Di himself leads his elite warriors in a charge straight towards Qi, whose main camp. High above, the Yinglong provides devastating air support, unleashing beams of concentrated star core energy that blast apart Qi-Yu's defenses. The battle rages fiercely all day long, but in the end, the tide turns. Huang Di in personal combat manages to capture Qi-Yu himself. Now, the ancient classic text, the Shanhai Jing, the classic mountains and seas, has a passage about this. It says, Huang Di ordered Yinglong to attack the wilds of Jizhou. Yinglong stormed on Qi. You asked the wind, earl, and rain master for aid, unleashing great wind and rain. Huang Di then sent down the sky woman named Ba. The rain stopped, and thus Qi-Yu was slain. A pretty brief account, right? It kinda glosses over the whole crashed alien spaceship turned war dragon part of the story we just heard. After the monumental victory at Zhuolu, Huang Di becomes the undisputed leader, the paramount sovereign of the Huaxia tribes, and the technology derived from the Yinglong, it sparks an unprecedented leap forward for their civilization. Asterisk artisans study the alien materials, reverse engineering them to create new bronze alloys, far stronger and more resilient than anything known before. This metallurgical revolution gives Huang Di's people vastly superior weapons and tools. Asterisk star charts found within the craft allow Huang Di to establish a highly accurate astronomical calendar predicting seasons and celestial events, which is a massive boost for agriculture. Asterisk. Most importantly, possessing and understanding this heavenly secret, this Tianji becomes the ultimate symbol of legitimacy. Huang Di is seen as the one chosen by heaven, his rule gaining unparalleled acceptance. However, Huang Di was also wise. He understood the immense danger this power represented. Late in his reign, now an old man, he gathers his most trusted ministers. This power, he tells them gravely, should not fall into the hands of mortals. It came from the stars, and ultimately it belongs to the stars. I have decided we must seal away the Yingluo and all related technology. Only the essential knowledge will be passed down to our successors. And so, on a dark, moonless night, the mighty Yingluo was taken to a secret, hidden cave. The entrance was sealed, its location known only to Huangdi's chosen heirs. Time flows on. Millennia pass. Then, in ******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* at an archaeological dig at the Shimao site in Shaanxi province, scientists make a startling discovery. They unearth fragments of bronze artifacts exhibiting unusually high purity, but analysis reveals something shocking. These fragments contain asterisks 37% of an unknown metallic element. Furthermore, they show radiation traces inconsistent with any known natural substance on Earth, and their crystal structure bears an uncanny resemblance to the heat-shielding materials used on modern spacecraft. The renowned archaeologist Zhang Guangqi reportedly said in a private discussion, "These findings completely overturn our understanding of early metallurgy. Someone deliberately concealed certain truths. This technology could not have been independently developed by humans 4,000 years ago." Even more astonishingly, deep within the Shimao ruins, the archaeological team discovers a stone tablet inscribed with bizarre runes, incredibly similar to the legendary dragon script, and etched onto the tablet what appears to be a set of geographical coordinates pointing towards a remote, unexplored mountain range in northern Shaanxi. Could that be the place? Is the cave where Hundi sealed away the Yunlong hidden in those mountains? Is that visitor from the stars the machine that changed the course of Chinese history, still sleeping, waiting to be reawakened. Maybe we'll never find the answer, but the incredible legend of the Yellow Emperor and the Yingluck, part history, part myth, part sci-fi epic, remains one of the most fascinating and mysterious chapters of Chinese civilization, continuing to ignite our imagination and our quest for knowledge. What do you guys think? Crazy story, right? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into history's hidden mysteries. Catch you in the next one inside that secret workshop near Bangkwan Field. The Yellow Emperor and his craftsmen had been hard at work for a whole month, surrounded by the wreckage of that alien craft. Your Majesty, look at this. Feng Hu's excited voice cut through the morning quiet. He held up a piece of metal about the size of his palm, pulsing with weird blue lines. Huangdi put down the oracle bone slips he was studying and hurried over. This was the 7th metal sample they'd managed to pry loose from the wreck, but this one was different. It seemed almost alive. These lines, Feng Hu explained, carefully touching the surface with a bronze needle. They're pulsing like they're breathing, and it reacts to our bronze tools. Huangdi took the metal piece, examining it closely. In the morning light, those blue lights were definitely flickering rhythmically, like some kind of energy was flowing inside. Even wilder when he ran his finger over the surface. The lines glowed brighter. This isn't ordinary metal, Huangdi murmured, thinking hard. It's some kind of energy conductor. Ling Lun, bring me that new bronze sword you just finished. Ling Lun quickly fetched a sword, still needing its final touches. It was their latest creation, using alloy techniques they'd learned from studying the crashed ship. The blade was long and sleek, with a groove running down the spine, originally designed just to make it lighter. Let's try something, Huangdi said, fitting the mysterious metal piece into that groove on the sword's spine. Feng Hu, write down everything that happens next. As the metal piece slotted into place, the entire sword suddenly started to hum those blue energy lines began to spread out from the fragment, creeping across the blade. The dull bronze surface started to glow faintly. This is incredible. Ling Lan breathed, his eyes wide. The sword's temperature is rising, but it's not hot to touch, and it feels like the metal itself is getting harder. Huangdi gripped the hilt, giving it a gentle swing. The sword whistled cleanly through the air, leaving a faint blue trail behind him. He walked over to the corner of the workshop where they kept a block of tough Xuan iron for testing. Let's see what it can really do. He brought the sword down. Shink! The Xuan iron block split cleanly in two. The cut surface smooth as glass, and even more shocking, the edges of the cut glowed faintly blue, residual energy still clinging to the metal. Night falls on the Shualu Plain. A team of scouts rushes back to the Yellow Emperor's main camp. Your Majesty, the lead scout cries out, dropping to his knees, his voice shaking with fear he can't hide. Qin, Yu's army, they're not normal soldiers. We saw them under the moonlight. They were transforming. A buzz goes through the command tent. Huangdi signals the scout to continue. Their warriors. Some grow to be 3 jong tall. That's like 30 feet. Their skin is hard as iron, and their eyes glow red in the dark. And the scariest part, they seem to heal instantly. Our arrows, they do nothing. Feng Hu steps forward. Your Majesty, that sounds disturbingly like genetically modified soldiers. I saw records of similar things in the crashed ship's database. After several more days of dangerous scouting, Huangdi's wisest advisors finally uncover the secret behind Qiyu's legion. Deep in the heartland of the 9 Lai tribes, they found another interstellar ruin. This one looked like some kind of biological research base. Okay, you must have found genetic modification technology there. Feng Hu analyzed. He's transforming his own warriors into some kind of human-beast hybrid. This explains those ancient texts saying you had a plunges the hilt of his sword of Xuanyuan deep in thought, so that's why they can move freely through their own poison fog. They aren't entirely human anymore. Preparations went on for a solid month. During this time, Huang Ti's craftsmen worked day and night, applying the Star Core technology to every weapon they could. The Yinglong dragon ship was refitted to serve as an aerial command platform, equipped with powerful energy shield generators. The energy conversion system from the sword of Xuanyuan, they managed to replicate it onto hundreds of weapons for his elite troops. And most crucially, they developed a special kind of energy pulse, specifically designed to disrupt the cellular stability of those genetically modified warriors. Remember, Huang Ti told his generals before the battle, "We are not fighting mere beasts. We are fighting against technology that is run wild. Use wisdom, not just brute force." The field of Shuai, the two armies face each other. He's Beastman. Legion is truly as terrifying as the scouts reported. Warriors towering 30 feet tall, covered in metallic-looking scales, breathing green toxic gas from their mouths, and behind them a massive, grotesque bioconversion machine churns, constantly creating new beast soldiers. Attack! You bellows, and the tide of beast then surges forward, but this time Huang Ti was ready. Activate energy shields. At Huang Ti's command, hundreds of specially made bronze shields flare to life simultaneously, forming a shimmering blue energy barrier that blocks the incoming poison fog. High above, the Yinglong circles, firing repeated energy pulses down into the enemy ranks, disrupting the genetic stability of the beast warrior. Whenever a pulse hit its mark, one of the giant modified soldiers would falter, temporarily losing their enhanced abilities, shrinking back towards human form. Fenggu, take the special unit. Destroy that conversion machine. Fenggu leads a crack team of elite soldiers armed with energy weapons, striking from the flank. Their weapons, based on the the Swan Yuan sword were designed to sever the energy supply of the genetic modification device. The fierce battle raged for 3 whole days and nights. Finally, with the Yinglong providing air support and the special forces fighting on the ground, the conversion machine was destroyed. Under the constant barrage of energy pulses, the remaining Beastman soldiers eventually reverted to their human forms. Qi Yu himself was captured alive. When they brought him before Huang Di, everyone was shocked to see that the 9-Li chieftain had modified himself so heavily he barely looked human anymore. You don't understand this power at all, Qi. You laughed wildly, defiantly. This is the key to evolution. We can transcend the limits of humanity. Huang Di simply shook his head. Power without control inevitably consumes itself. This war has proven that. Fast forward to 2008. Archaeologists are digging near the Juolu area in Henan province. They uncover evidence of an ancient battlefield, but deep down, about 30 meters below the surface, they find anomalies they just can't explain. The soil contains large amounts of mutated human DNA. Certain skeletal remains show clear signs of artificial genetic manipulation in their sequences, and the ground around the battlefield appears to have been fused into glass, vitrified by some kind of unknown intense energy. These findings completely upend our understanding of ancient warfare. One geneticist, who asked to remain anonymous, stated, "The battle that happened here seems to have involved some form of biotechnology far beyond the level of that era. The Battle of Juolu is a major turning point in Chinese history. Traditionally, it's seen as the war that established the dominance of the Huaxia tribes. But maybe it was also humanity's first real technological war. War fought over the question of how to properly wield advanced technology Huangdi's ultimate choice to use the power with restraint and eventually to seal it away perhaps came from a deep, profound understanding of human nature itself. Picture this. The year is 2021. Shaanxi province, China, at the Shihuang ruin. Professor Zhang, you need to see that a young research assistant, Xiao Li, bursts into the temporary office holding a metal detector. We're getting a really weird signal over in Sector B, about 5 meters down. Professor Zhang puts down his papers and quickly follows Xiao Li to the dig site. The detector's readings are definitely strange, showing a large metal object underground, but the frequency doesn't match any known type of ancient metalwork. Start digging, Professor Zhang orders, but be extremely careful. 3 days later, the team finally reaches it. A section of metal wall, about 2 square meters in size. The surface has this odd bronze-like color, but when they touch it, it's unnaturally cold. This can't be from the Bronze Age, Professor Zhang mutters, shining his flashlight carefully across the surface. Look at these patterns. Are they glowing? And sure enough, under the flashlight beam, faint blue glowing lines appear on the metal, forming complex geometric patterns. Even weirder, the patterns seem to be slowly shifting, changing. Get samples immediately. Send them to the lab. Professor Zhang's voice trembles slightly. And walk down this site. Keep this discovery under wraps for now. Cut to Beijing at the Chinese Academy of Sciences Materials Research Institute. This is unbelievable. Lead researcher Dr. Lai stares into the microscope screen. The crystal structure of this metal. I've never seen such a perfectly regular arrangement. Under the electron microscope, the sample shows a flawless hexagonal lattice structure, and inside each tiny hexagon, what looks like miniature energy circuits. And its composition is even stranger. Another researcher adds, 37% is an element we can't identify. None of our equipment recognizes it. The rest are common metals, sure, but they're isotope ratios. They don't match any natural distribution found on Earth. This discovery quickly gets attention. ancient texts, the researchers find some intriguing clues. The Huangdi Meijing, the Yellow Emperor's inner canon, mentions something like Huangdi obtained the true essence of heaven and forged it into tool. Their light shone like the sun. This description, usually dismissed as myth, suddenly sounds eerily similar to the properties of the metal found at Shimao. And get this, when they scan the metal surface with a special spectrometer, they find a set of bizarre symbols etched there. Symbols that are almost identical to the script found on that dragon script stone tablet discovered back in 1978 in the same area. As the research progresses, the scientists start piecing together a mind-blowing picture. This metal could very well be the actual product of that legendary Shenbing fame, the divine weapon workshop from the time of the Yellow Emperor. If this hypothesis holds true, Professor Zhang writes in a classified report, then we have to completely rethink the technological level of ancient China. Technology demonstrated by these metal artifacts, it seems to surpass even our current understanding of material science, especially those energy circuits inside the metal. They didn't just seem capable of storing energy, but maybe even performing some kind of information processing. That kind of tech is unheard of even today. But just when the research team felt they were on the verge of a major breakthrough, something bizarre happened. Late one night, the lab equipment suddenly detected a massive energy surge. The researcher on duty rushed in to find all of the metal samples glowing with an intense, blinding blue light. A few minutes later, the samples just disintegrated. They crumbled into piles of ordinary metallic dust. This wasn't an accident, Dr. Lai concluded after analyzing the event. It's like the metal has some kind of built-in self-destruct mechanism activated right when we were getting too close to its secrets. It chose to disappear. In the spring of 2022, the official archaeological report on the Shimao site is released, but any mention of the mysterious self-destructing metal completely absent. Not a single word. However, within the closed circles of archaeology and material science, the discovery ignited intense private debate. More and more scholars are starting to seriously reconsider the true technological capabilities of China's ancient past. It seems that within the vast river of China's 5,000-year history, there are still deep mysteries waiting to be explored. This puzzle of the Shimao metal, maybe it's a signal left for us by that ancient civilization, a hint that way back in those distant times, our ancestors might have possessed secrets, technologies that even our modern science can't yet grasp, and perhaps those secrets are hidden in plain sight, woven into the very myths and legends we thought we knew so well. In the early Warring States period, on a cold winter day, Mosey stood in the collection pavilion of the Jixia Academy in the state of Qi, holding a damaged bamboo slip in his hand. He had discovered it by chance while organizing ancient texts. The writing on the bamboo slip was completely different from other texts, shimmering with a faint blue light. This is Starcore script, Mosey murmured to himself. As a wise man skilled in mechanics, he immediately recognized this special writing. Legend said it was a record of extraterrestrial civilization left from the time of the Yellow Emperor, but he never thought he would find it in the collection pavilion of the state of Qi. The bamboo slip recorded a shocking secret. Somewhere in the Central Plains, hidden was a star core from outside the heavens, one of the 7 star cores from the Yellow Emperor's era. More importantly, the bamboo slip also recorded clues for finding this star core. What heaven leaves behind must have deep meaning, Mosey pondered. Perhaps this is a test given to us by heaven. After 3 months of secret searching, Mosey finally found the star core emitting a faint blue light in a hidden valley in the Taihong Mountain. As he held this crystal, radiating strange energy in his hands. A powerful force instantly surged into his mind. The knowledge contained within the star core shocked Lucy. It was not just an energy source, but also a database containing the wisdom of a higher civilization. Through it, Mosey saw terrifying weapons capable of destroying entire vassal states, and also advanced technologies that could advance human civilization by 1,000 years. However, the more he understood these powers, the deeper Mosey's worry became. Possessing great power does not mean one must use it. One night, Mosey said to his most trusted disciple, "We Mohists must take this as a warning and establish a new philosophy." This was the origin of the Mohist concept of non-aggression. On the surface, it was a pacifist philosophy opposing war, but in reality, it was a concept of self-restraint proposed by Mosey based on his understanding of powerful forces. The will of heaven is clear. The spirits observe. Using war will surely lead to destruction. Mosey wrote this in the chapter Non-Aggression. The true meaning of this sentence is a warning to future generations. If one masters power beyond their time, but cannot restrain its use, they will ultimately bring about their own demise. To protect and correctly use the power of the star core, Mosey established a secret organization. This organization later developed into the core of Mohism. They were called Guardian. Every Guardian had to undergo strict tests, not only mastering mechanics, but also possessing firm moral conviction. Mosey established strict rules. Technology must not be used for offensive weapons. Protecting the weak must be their responsibility. Technology can only be used for defense and civilian life. With the help of the star core's power, the Mohists began a grand project building the mechanical city. This was not an ordinary city, but a technology center integrating research, education, and defense. We want to build a city that can never be breached. Moses said to his disciples, not because it has powerful weapons, but because it can neutralize all attacks. This is the true meaning of non-aggression. In 2020, archaeologists discovered a site in Henan suspected to be the ruins of the Mohist mechanical city. Deep within the ruins, they found a stone tablet inscribed with special characters. These characters are very similar to the star script from the Yellow Emperor's era. A researcher said privately, even more interesting, the stone tablet seems to record a complete set of ethical principles on how to correctly use powerful forces. In 413 BC, a Mohist disciple named Qin Shihuang, during an exploration deep in the Zhongnan Mountains, discovered a shocking marvel, a natural lava lake with a diameter of 300 meters. But what truly made the heart of this Mohist wise man race was the strange resonance emitted by the Sirius meteorite he carried with him as it approached the lava lake. This cannot be a coincidence. Qin Shihuang wrote in his bamboo slip diary, the star core and the Earth's core fire, separated by countless miles, yet share the same pulse. This is a gift bestowed upon the Mohists by heaven over the next 3 years. Qin Shihuang led 108 Mohist elites, working day and night to excavate tunnels around the lava lake and construct an energy system that even modern scientists would find hard to believe. Imagine 12 perfectly symmetrical basalt channels, like the veins of a giant dragon, guiding the scorching lava towards a core device deep within the mountain belly, a crystal sphere embedded with star core fragments. When the heat of the lava met the star core, an unprecedented energy resonance was activated. During the first activation, the entire mountain trembled. One eyewitness described the blue light emitted by the crystal sphere illuminated the entire cave, and everyone knelt on the ground, thinking it was a divine manifestation. The brilliance of this system lay in its quantum coupling timeless energy exchange was established between the iron-nickel fluid in the lava and the plutonium -244 crystal of the star core. Even more incredibly, this system also had a self-regulating capability, automatically adjusting energy output based on the needs of the mechanical city. When we needed more energy, the resonance chamber would emit a slight hum, and then the energy would increase. A Mohist disciple responsible for maintaining the system wrote in his notes, "It was as if this device had its own soul and could understand our requests." In 2015, a Chinese geological survey team discovered some anomalies in the Qin region. Artificial cavities at a depth of 3 kilometers, the surrounding basalt showing nanoscale recrystallization structures and traces of antimatter decay detected. These findings astonishingly matched the location of the Mohist mechanical city described in ancient texts. We found some etchings on an unearthed jade tablet. The head of the archaeological team told me, "At first, we thought they were some kind of ancient script. Later, a physicist pointed out that they were actually mathematical equations describing quantum entanglement. Even more surprisingly, some unearthed bronze components still maintained superconducting properties, and a few fluorite energy indicators could still emit faint light when stimulated by specific frequency sound wave." Scientists at CERN in Switzerland attempted to replicate this technology and built an experimental device called the Mosey Project. They used tungsten instead of bronze, artificial diamond as the resonance chamber, and lasers to simulate lava fluctuation. Although they achieved some groundbreaking progress, there is still a long way to go to truly recreate the Mohist's achievements. We are like using stone tools to study integrated circuit. The project leader admitted in a private conversation, "The physical knowledge mastered by the Mohists far exceeds our imagination. We even suspect whether they received help external civilization. Compared to modern energy technology, the Mohist star core resonance system was almost perfect. Pollution free, stable, and reliable. Absolutely safe, and required only 3 years to build. This makes us wonder, how did the Mohists master such advanced technology over 2,000 years ago? There is a thought-provoking record in Why Not Say. Moses' followers numbered 180. All could be sent into fire and treading on blade time without turning back. Perhaps it was this absolute loyalty and dedication that became the key factor in controlling the star core energy. Only completely selfless hearts could wield such powerful force. As I closed my notebook, the starry sky outside the window seemed brighter than usual. I couldn't help but wonder, among those distant stars, are there more secrets waiting for us to discover? And how many unsolved mysteries have those ancient wise men who have passed away left for us? This is the energy source of the Mohist mechanical city. The resonance between underground lava and the star core. A technological miracle spanning 1,000 years. The treasure of wisdom waiting for modern humanity to rediscover. This cannot be a coincidence. Absolutely impossible. Professor Chen put down the test report in his hand and took off his glasses, rubbing his tired eyes. The lab lights shone on the beads of sweat on his forehead, reflecting a faint blue light. This was his 36th consecutive hour of work, but the shock of the discovery was enough to dispel all fatigue. Professor Lin, you have to see this yourself. He dialed a video call half an hour later. Professor Lin hurried to the special materials laboratory on the 3rd underground level. She's an authority in Chinese archaeology, specializing in Mohist cultural relics research. Have the data been confirmed? Professor Lin asked directly. 3 repeated experiments. The results are completely consistent. Professor Chen brought up a holographic projection, the quantum structure of the Mohist star core controller, and the Mayan crystal skull have a 99.7% matching degree. In the projection, the internal structure images of the two artifacts, separated by thousands of miles and 1,000 years, overlapped, almost perfectly aligned. This changes everything, Professor Lin said softly. We need to contact the Mexico team immediately. Summer 2019. Palenque Ruins, Mexico. Professor Martinez was carefully cleaning a crystal skull that had just been unearthed. Suddenly, a blue light flashed across the surface of the skull, and his instrument simultaneously let out a piercing alarm. Energy fluctuation, his assistant exclaimed, completely off the scale. At the same moment, in Henan, China, at the excavation site of the Mohist mechanical city ruins, Port Team Leader, the star core controller, is showing abnormal activity. The young technician stared at the monitoring screen, his voice trembling with syndrome. The archaeological teams in the two locations almost simultaneously recorded this strange phenomena. Two artifacts separated by thousands of miles suddenly awakened at the same time and attempted to establish some kind of connection. 3 months later, a secret research group composed of Chinese, Mexican, and international scientists was formed in Switzerland. Their mission: to unlock the secrets behind these two artifacts. Based on our analysis, Professor Chen presented the data at the meeting. Although the two artifacts are made of different materials, their internal structures are almost identical. The Mohists used synthetic crystal doped with iridium, while the Mayans used natural quartz crystal. The most incredible thing, he continued, is that both exhibit completely identical defect patterns at the atomic scale. This could never be naturally formed. Professor Martinez took over the topic. Both artifacts can convert geothermal heat into usable energy, have self-healing energy circuits, and can even store the user's biological information. And this, Professor Lin brought up a set of comparison images. The architectural layouts of the mechanical city and the Mayan pyramids are strikingly similar. Both are precisely oriented 7.5 degrees west of magnetic north. Both are 9-tiered structures. The internal passages of both maintain a 23.5 degree angle, and the energy node distribution of both follows the Fibonacci spiral. Silence fell over the conference room. This evidence pointed to a disturbing conclusion. Ancient civilizations worldwide might have shared the same extraterrestrial technology system. We need to try activating them, proposed Dr. Weber, a Swiss quantum physicist. Too dangerous, Professor Lin objected. Mosey explicitly warned that improper use of this technology would bring disaster. Mayan documents also have similar warnings. Martinez added, saying that these artifacts would evaluate the moral level of the user. After intense discussion, the group decided to conduct limited activation experiments. They placed the two artifacts in specially designed quantum shielding chambers and attempted to awaken them with precisely controlled energy pulses. On the day of the experiment, the entire facility was under strict security. Energy pulse ready. The technician reported. 3, 2, 1, activate. A blue light erupted from both artifacts simultaneously, forming a rotating sphere of light in the center of the laboratory. Within the sphere, a series of complex symbols began to flash rapidly. This is some kind of language. Professor Lin stared at the symbols. Some are similar to the heavenly script symbols in Mohist text. Suddenly, the sphere of light expanded, projecting a holographic star map. In the star map, a path connecting Earth to a distant galaxy was clearly visible. Oh my God, Dr. Weber exclaimed. This is a navigation map. Just as everyone held their breath and watched, alarms blared. Cracks began to appear on the surface of the two artifacts, and energy readings surged dramatically. They're going to self-destruct, Professor Chen shouted. Cut off the power immediately. The technician frantically shut down the system, but it was too late. The two artifacts simultaneously emitted blinding light, then fell silent. The mysterious patterns on their surfaces were forever gone, as if wiped away by some force. A week later, the core members of the research group gathered in a hidden conference room. We managed to save some data, Professor Chen said tiredly, including that star map and some symbol sequences. Based on my interpretation, Professor Lin said, these symbols describe an advanced energy technology far beyond our current technological level. And this Professor Martinez displayed a decoded message. It looks like a warning. When the dragon of the east meets the serpent of the west, the sleeping wisdom will reawaken, but only those with righteous hearts can wield the spark. Dr. Wava pondered for a moment, then said, I think this is not just a warning, but also an invitation. Some higher civilization left these technological seeds on Earth, waiting for us to grow to a level sufficient to understand them. The question is, Professor Lin looked at the starry sky outside the window. Are we ready? The research continued in secret. As more evidence surfaced, a stunning picture gradually became clear. Thousands of years ago, a technological dialogue across the Pacific once existed. The Mohists and the Mayan civilization were perhaps just two nodes in a global ancient technology network. And today, as these sleeping technologies reawaken, humanity will face a choice. Repeat past mistakes or find a new path. Deep in the starry sky, a distant civilization may be watching it all, waiting for the seeds they sowed to finally blossom and bear fruit. The night was as dark as ink. Deep within the mechanical city and the Shongnan Mountains, the aging Mozi gazed at the starry sky outside the window. He knew his time was running out. This night, in 381 BC was destined to be etched in history. Moses summoned his 10 most trusted disciples to the star core secret chamber. Inside, there was only one bronze lamp, its faint blue flame illuminating the solemn faces of everyone present. Tonight, I shall impart to you the core secret of the mechanical city. Moses' voice was weak, yet still firm. But this secret is too powerful to be held by one person alone. He slowly rose and took out a crystal clear blue crystal from his sleeve. This was a fragment of the star core. Under the starlight, countless stars seemed to flow within the crystal. I will divide the secret into 3 parts: the oath constraint, the code language, and the biological key. Only when all 3 are combined can the true power be unlocked. Qin Shihuang, the eldest disciple, stepped forward and knelt on one knee. Master, we are willing to take an oath to guard this secret until our last breath. Moses shook his head. No, this is no ordinary oath. Once taken, it will be bound to your lives, your bloodlines, and even your soul. Breaking the oath will not only endanger yourselves, but also jeopardize the entire civilization. The room was silent. Only the flame of the bronze lamp flickered gently. I am willing, Qin Shihuang said without hesitation, for the sake of the people under heaven. What is this price? The other disciples echoed. We are willing. Moses closed his eyes, seemingly communicating with some invisible force. When he opened his eyes again, a strange blue light flickered in his cloudy old eyes. Recite the oath with me. He began to chant in a peculiar tone, not ordinary speech, but a sound between singing and chanting. The disciples followed, repeating, each syllable forming strange ripples in the air. As the oath progressed, the disciples felt a strange power flow into their bodies, as if invisible threads connected them to the depths of the universe. When the last syllable fell, a flash of blue light flickered in everyone's eyes, then vanished. From now on, the mark of guardianship imprinted in your blood. Mohist said, this is a multi-level constraint mechanism from the primary blood oath to the ultimate civilization level moral constraint. Any betrayal will come with a corresponding price. Next, Mohist began to teach the code language. This was not a simple cipher, but a complete language system. Each syllable corresponded to a quantum bit state, and the grammatical structure followed the most fundamental physical laws of the universe. Universal love is not just a moral principle. In the code language, it represents energy balance. Non-aggression is the activation command for force field defense. Exalting the worthy is the core protocol for permission management. The disciples learned eagerly. This language was strange and beautiful. Speaking, it felt like sensing the pulse of the universe. Finally, the biological key. Mohist took out a small jade bottle from his white oak, containing blue liquid. This is the essence of the star core, fused with my blood. Each of you will drink a drop. It will alter a part of your genetic sequence and become the key to unlocking the star core's power. Qin Shihuang was the first to step forward, took the jade bottle, and drank a drop without hesitation. The other disciples followed suit. The blue liquid felt like ice upon entering the mouth, but it soon turned into a warm current within the body, flowing throughout. From now on, you are the guardian. Mohist's voice gradually weakened. Remember, this power is not for conquest, but for guardianship, to benefit the world and eliminate its harm. This is the way of Mohism. He paused for a moment, then added, to ensure safety, each of you only masters a portion of the knowledge, only under specific conditions. With 7 or more people present simultaneously, can the complete system be activated. The night deepened. Mohist called his 10 disciples to his side, one by one, whispering a few words to each. This was a secret. Only they shared the final safeguard. 3 days later, Mohist passed away peacefully according to his will. The 10 disciples dispersed throughout the land, ostensibly to spread Mohist's thought, but in reality Over 2,000 years later, Beijing National Institute of Ancient Cultural Relics, Professor Lee rubbed his tired eyes. On the computer screen was a newly deciphered Mohist document. This is not an ordinary confidentiality agreement, he explained to his young assistant, Dr. Wang, but a quantum contract bound to the user's life and the survival of civilization. The Mohists created first decentralized autonomous organization in human history. Their blockchain was written in DNA. Dr. Wang looked at the data on the screen in disbelief. A supercomputer ran for 3 years, but only cracked the surface grammar. How is this possible? Even more incredible, Professor Lee pointed to another report. We did indeed find special CRISPR gene markers and mitochondrial DNA encryption sequences in the blood of volunteers who claim to be descendants of the Mohists. After over 2,000 years, these biological keys still exist. He stood up and walked to the window, gazing at the stars twinkling in the night sky. Mosey, cultivating oneself, says the way of the gentleman is to show integrity in poverty, righteousness in wealth, love in life, and sorrow in death. Perhaps the true safeguarding of technology lies not in complex encryption, but in this moral steadfastness that transcends time and space. Just then, his phone suddenly rang. It was an encrypted message. Sender unknown. The message contained only one line. Jinwali protocol activated. Proceed to the designated location immediately. Professor Lee's pupils contracted slightly. He knew that a secret that had slept for over 2,000 years was about to see the light of day. And deep in the distant Tongnan Mountains, in a cave forgotten by the world, a bronze lamp suddenly lit up, its faint blue flame flickering in the darkness like a signal across time and space. The guardians are gathering. The Xianyang Palace, shrouded in night, was dimly lit by oil lamps. Ying Zheng sat alone under a bronze lamp, holding a confidential report that had just arrived. It was intelligence sent back by a spy who had risked his life by lurking in the Mohist mechanical city. In the lamplight, his face was clouded and uncertain, his eyes flickering with unease and anger. Your Majesty, you summoned me. Lisi pushed open the heavy palace gates and asked cautiously. The first emperor did not answer immediately. His gaze remained on the bamboo slip. After a moment, he raised his head, his voice low and resolute. Issue my decree. Burn all historical records of the vassal states and the words of the 100 schools of thought throughout the land. Only books on medicine, divination, and tree planting are exempt. Lisi was taken aback, then vowed to receive the order. But a hint of confusion flashed in his eyes. Why specifically exclude these seemingly harmless texts from the burning? After Lisi withdrew, the first emperor walked to the window, gazing at the faintly visible, starry sky in the distance. There, one star was particularly bright. It was the direction of the Mohist mechanical city. They possess power they should not possess. He murmured to himself, this power is enough to shake the foundations of my empire. Report, the Mohist mechanical city has repelled our army's attack again. The general, covered in dust, knelt before the first emperor, his voice filled with undisguised frustration. This was the 17th failed attempt. Tell me the details. The first emperor's voice was icy cold. Your Majesty, our army's most advanced siege equipment is nothing more than wooden ladders and catapults, while the Mohist defenders hold strange weapons that can easily cut through metal. I personally saw a blue light flash, and our bronze shields were cut open like paper. The first emperor's fingers unconsciously tapped the armrest of his dragon chair. He had known for a long time that this was not a fair fight. It was more like primitive humans from the Stone Age attempting to challenge a high-tech arsenal from an interstellar civilization. Your Majesty, Wang Jian hesitated for a moment, then spoke. Perhaps we should consider negotiating with the Mohists. if their technology could be used by our great Qin. Impossible. The first emperor suddenly stood up. Do you think I haven't tried? In 230 BC, I sent envoys to ask them to build the 9-ding energy weapon for Great Qin, and they refused. They would rather seal their technology than support the great cause of unifying the land. Silence fell over the hall, broken only by the faint crackling of the bronze lamp. I cannot tolerate the existence of any power beyond my control. The first emperor's voice regained its calmness, but it was even colder, especially those who possessed the power to change the destiny of the land. Outside Xianyang City late at night, a special contingent was secretly assembling. They wore black clothes with no markings, and determination shone in everyone's eyes. Ling Tian stood at the front of the contingent, his voice very low. His Majesty's decree has been issued. The book burning operation will begin immediately. Remember, this is not just about destroying books. It is a comprehensive clearance operation targeting Mohist technology. The operation proceeded in 3 phases, each meticulously planned. In the first phase, they infiltrated libraries in various places, destroying all literature related to StarCore technology, erasing records of energy mathematics, and altering astronomical observation records. Hidden within the burned bamboo slips were secrets capable of changing the course of human civilization. This copy of Mosi contains records about energy conversion. It must be destroyed. A man in black whispered, throwing the bamboo slip into the fire. In the firelight, 1,000 years of wisdom turned to ash. The second phase was even more brutal. On a moonless night, 467 Mohists who possessed core technology were secretly taken to a deep pit outside Xianyang City. Your cry is misleading the masses. The official leading the team announced coldly. In reality, You have offended His Majesty. An elderly Mohist raised his head. There was no fear in his eyes, only pity. Do you think burning books and burying scholars alive can stop the truth? The light of the stars will not be extinguished by your ignorance. The official did not respond, merely waved his hand. The archers drew their bowstrings. The third phase was the most thorough clearance operation. Qin military special action teams systematically destroyed energy nodes across the country, modified geographical records, and established an officially sanctioned narrative of technology. A once glorious technological civilization was thus forcibly pushed back to the Bronze Age. On the highest observatory of the mechanical city, the Mohist Grand Master looked at the distant beacon fires, his eyes filled with sorrow. They have begun their move, the disciple reported. The order to burn books in Shenyang has spread throughout the land, and our comrades in various places are suffering unprecedented persecution. The Grand Master was silent for a long time before speaking slowly. We anticipated this day long ago. Qin Shihuang relied on military force to unify the 6 states, but in the face of true knowledge, his bronze sword and iron-blooded ambition appear so pale and powerless. Master, we should activate the Star Core weapon system and destroy the Qin army in one fell swoop, a young disciple said excitedly. The Grand Master shook his head. Non-aggression is the foundation of our Mohist school. The meaning of technology is to benefit humanity, not to destroy. Our ancestors brought this knowledge from the stars to improve this world, not to ruin. He turned to the core disciples behind him. Launch the knowledge arc plan. Disperse and preserve the core technology, encrypt it, and hide it within various ancient texts. One day, when the world is ready to receive this knowledge, we will see the light of day again. What about the mechanical city? The disciple asked. The Grand Master looked at the Qin army gathering below the city and said calmly, I will stay here and delay as long as possible. You leave with the knowledge and disperse throughout the land. Remember, on the surface, obey the Qin laws, but secretly preserve the spark. Qin Shihuang woke up from a dream, his forehead covered in cold sweat. This was a dream he had often recently. In the dream, the Mohist Grand Master stood on top of a metal tower, emitting blue light, and with the mere wave of his hand, the entire Xianyang city turned to ash. Even more terrifying was the Mohist's mastery of an energy network that could transcend geographical limitations, allowing them to confront the Qin army anywhere. Your Majesty, are you alright? The attendant asked cautiously. How is the Mohist clearance operation progressing? The first emperor did not answer the question, but asked directly, reporting to your Majesty. Over 90% of libraries in various locations have been burned. Over 400 Mohists have been executed, and over 130 related scholars have been exiled. Most of the energy nodes in various places have also been destroyed. Qin Shihuang nodded, but the worry in his eyes did not dissipate. How are Shufu's preparations for the eastward voyage? The fleet is ready and can set sail at any time. Qin Shihuang walked to the window, looking at the eastern ocean. Behind Shufu's eastward voyage to seek the elixir of immortality was his desperate attempt to find a way to counter Mohist energy technology. Legend had it that beyond the eastern sea there was a land where people possessed technology similar to that of the Mohists. This power must be completely eradicated. Qin Shihuang murmured to himself. Otherwise, the unification of Great Qin would be meaningless. Several years later, a young historian stood before the ruins of the abandoned Mohist mechanical city, his heart filled with regret. The operation of burning books and burying scholars alive had ended. On the surface, Qin Shihuang had achieved victory. The Mohists' public activities had disappeared. Their technical documents were burned, and their knowledge passed down was cut off. A once glorious technological civilization he did not know was that in the hidden techniques of folk crafts, in the encrypted records of Taoist texts, and in the oral secrets of ethnic minorities, Mohist knowledge was continuing in another form. More ironically, just when Qin Shihuang thought he had eliminated the threat, his empire had begun to collapse. The burning of books and burying of scholars brought not only a gap in knowledge, but also the dispersion of people's hearts. The young historian picked up a metal fragment from the ruins. Precise patterns were still visible on it. He carefully hid it in his white yacht, deciding to record the truth of this period of history, even if it would never appear in official historical record. This catastrophe that happened before our generation's eyes is not just a political movement, he wrote on a private bamboo slip, but the first recorded large-scale technological civilization regression in human history. Its shadow will forever remind future generations. The game between technology and power is an eternal issue that requires wisdom to balance. On the distant horizon, a new sun was rising. The wheels of history never stop, and the truth will eventually emerge in the long river of time. In 206 BC, the Qin dynasty fell. In a hidden mountain cave, several people dressed in ordinary farmers' clothing gathered together. They carefully opened a long-sealed bronze box and took out the bamboo slips inside. Master said that these knowledge should only be restarted at the appropriate time. An old man with white hair said, "Now that Qin has fallen, perhaps the time has come." Another shook his head. "Not yet. Although Qin is gone, the new rulers may not be able to accept these technologies that transcend their time. We must continue to wait until the world is ready to receive the gifts from the stars." They resealed the box and set up a camouflage at the cave entrance. The spark of the starfire was faint, but it had not been extinguished. Mohist knowledge, in another form, would continue to influence this ancient civilization. And deep beneath the ruins of the Xianyang Palace, within the tomb meticulously built by by Qin Shihuang, the mysterious energy source known as the star core, still emitted a faint light, waiting to be rediscovered one day. The truth of history is often more complex than we imagine. What is recorded and what is deliberately forgotten together form the complete picture of this civilization. As the sunset, dusk deepened over the lowest plateau of Lintung, Shaanxi. Archaeologist Wang Mingyuan stood on the edge of Pit 1 of the Terracotta Army, gazing at the neatly arranged terracotta army below, lost in thought. Professor, the latest quantum scan results are out. His assistant, Shaoli, hurried over, the screen of his tablet flickering with blue light. Wang Mingyuan took the tablet. As the data loaded, his pupils contracted sharply. This is impossible. The three-dimensional model displayed on the screen clearly showed the massive structure hidden beneath the terracotta army pit, a complete underground factory supported by an energy system composed of a star core reactor, plasma diversion tubes, and a quantum entanglement network. We always thought they were just exquisite pottery figures. Wang Mingyuan murmured to himself, but they are actually the product of biological printing. 3 months later, in a heavily guarded underground laboratory in Beijing, an international joint archaeological investigation team was holding a secret meeting. According to our analysis, Wang Mingyuan stood in front of the projection screen, his voice trembling slightly with excitement. The terracotta warriors in the mausoleum of the first Qin Emperor are not simple clay products, but living containers mass-produced using a biological 3D printing technology far beyond our current scientific level. A conference room was in an uproar. Please allow me to show the evidence. Wang Mingyuan clicked the remote control, and the screen switched to a microscopic image. This is a sample extracted from the surface of a terracotta warrior. You can clearly see the nanoscale vascular network structure and these quantum entanglement nodes. Even more astonishingly, we detected faint but definitely present traces of bioelectrical activity. What does this mean? An American scientist asked. This means Professor Lai, a Chinese paleography expert, took over the topic. The record and the records of the grand historian. When the first emperor first ascended the throne, he started the work at Mount Lee, did not refer to simple excavation work, but the activation of an unprecedented production system. Late at night, Wang Mingyuan returned alone to the temporary laboratory set up next to the terracotta army pit. Moonlight streamed through the window, falling on a terracotta warrior covered by a special protective shield. This was the sample they secretly removed for in-depth research. He put on special gloves and carefully scraped a small piece of material from the surface of the terracotta warrior, placing it in the analysis instrument. After the instrument ran for a moment, the screen displayed a shocking result. The sample contained human DNA from 2,000 years ago, but there were obvious traces of artificial editing in the gene sequence, and even a completely unidentifiable extraterrestrial virus vector sequence. My God. Wang Mingyuan gasped. Just then, the door of the laboratory was pushed open, and a white-haired old man walked in. Academician Chang. Wang Mingyuan stood up in surprise. Why did you come in person? This matter is of great importance. I had to come. Academician Zhang's voice was low and solemn. Do you know that your discovery has alarmed the highest level? He walked to the terracotta warrior and gazed at its lifelike face. This is not just an archaeological discovery, but a technological breakthrough that could change the course of human civilization. In the following days, a team of archaeologists, physicists, bioengineers, and paleography experts worked in absolute secrecy. They gradually pieced together how this astonishing biological printing system operated according to our simulation. Dr. Li, a bioengineer, explained at an internal briefing. This system first conducted holographic scanning and modeling of real warriors, then extracted their skin and muscle sample, make stem cells with a special intelligent clay to form bioink, printed layer by layer with quantum precision positioning, and finally activated and injected consciousness using star core energy. This is simply a scene from a science fiction novel. A young researcher couldn't help but exclaim. No, Doctor. Lee shook his head. Science fiction is imagining the future, while we are revealing the past. This technology already existed over 2,000 years ago, but it was suddenly interrupted for some reason. A year later, on a stormy night, Wang Mingyuan and academician Zhang stood deep within the terracotta army pit. Only a few emergency lights provided dim illumination. We found the control center. Wang Mingyuan pointed to the newly discovered secret chamber underground, but whether to try to activate it, this decision is too significant. Academician Zhang was silent for a long time. Rainwater dripped down his protective suit onto the ancient land. In human history, every major technological breakthrough is accompanied by great responsibility. We thought we were creating the future, but in reality, we are just rediscovering the past. He turned to Wang Mingyuan, his eyes firm. Regardless of where this technology came from, whether it is the Star Core technology from the Yellow Emperor's era, a derivative application from the Mohist mechanical city, or direct transmission from an extraterrestrial civilization, we must treat it with caution. Yes, Wang Mingyuan nodded. The ethical boundaries of biological printing, the risks of consciousness digitization, the prevention of technological runaway. These problems already existed 2,000 years ago, and today we face the same challenges again. In the distance, thunder rumbled as if echoing history. Beneath this ancient land, secrets that had slept for over 2,000 years were awakening, and humanity once again stood at the crossroads of technology and ethics. When the first ray of dawn sunlight shone on the terracotta army pit. A faint light seemed to flash in the eyes of a terracotta warrior, then quickly disappeared into the morning mist. The wheels of history turned silently. The past and the future intersected at this moment, and the truth, perhaps, is more complex and profound than we imagined. In the late autumn of 2003, a joint Chinese-German archaeological team's underground radar scanner detected abnormal signals beneath the first Qin Emperor's mausoleum. As the data from the Mayan imaging instrument gradually formed on the display screen, Dr. Mark Schmidt, the archaeological team leader, couldn't help but tremble. "This is impossible," he murmured to himself. "This is absolutely impossible." What was displayed on the screen was a massive mercury pool structure, but the latest declassified research report revealed that this was far from a simple preservation facility. It was a life replication system capable of overturning modern biotechnology knowledge. The life remaking pool, under the illumination of fluorescent spotlights, the archaeological team members carefully advanced along the ancient passage. The bronze pipes on the walls shone with a strange luster, like the blood vessels of a giant organism, shoe-sewn mysterious energy deep into the underground palace. Finally, they arrived before the legendary mercury pool. The surface of the pool was calm as a mirror, but under special spectrum analysis, countless tiny nanorobots could still be seen swimming within it, executing programs from over 2,000 years ago. "This is not a tomb, Professor Zhang," the Chinese expert exclaimed. "This is an ancient life factory." Mark nodded, his eyes filled with awe. 2,000 years ago, they already mastered technology that we are still exploring today. After several months of research, scientists gradually reconstructed how this system worked. Around the mercury pool were 4 key devices: a quantum gene bank storing the genetic templates of the Qin dynasty's most elite warriors, a nano assembler capable of material reconstruction at the atomic level, a bioreactor filled with plasma culture medium, and the most core star core controller responsible for regulating the parameters of the entire life remaking process. A quantum physicist who wished to remain anonymous told Mark in the laboratory late at night, the people at that time used the quantum properties of Mercury to create a biological computer. It could perform 10 circumflex, 15 operations per second, a number that is astonishing even today. Mark rubbed his tired eyes. Are you saying that Qin Shihuang didn't just want eternal life? He also wanted to create an eternal heartbeat. More complex than that, the physicist pointed to the data stream on the screen. According to unearthed bamboo slips, the life remaking process was as follows. First, extract living cells from excellent warriors. Then, through genetic optimization, strengthen their power and endurance, while simultaneously implanting a program of absolute loyalty at the genetic level. Next, use the unique quantum properties of Mercury to build the body and completely replicate the original's compact memory. Finally, through accelerated growth technology, rapidly bring the replicated body to optimal condition. The mysterious record in records of the Grand Historian that used Mercury to represent the 100 rivers, Jiang, He, the Great Seas, turns out to have subtly referred to this massive biological computing network. Professor Zhang added, his voice echoing in the empty laboratory. In the laboratory, scientists conducted in-depth tests on the terracotta warriors. The results made everyone gasp. All the terracotta warriors carried the same mitochondrial DNA markers, and within their bodies, standardized gene sequences existed, and they even had programmed aging mechanisms loaded. This is not a coincidence. Professor Wang, a biologist, said this is a meticulously designed biological engineering system. It can not only replicate life, but also ensure that these replicated hidden corner of the underground palace, the archaeological team discovered the remains of the central control console. The star core interface was still emitting faint energy fluctuations, although the holographic projection system was damaged. Its former glory could still be vaguely discerned. Most disturbingly, the system also retained complete safety mechanisms, quantum encryption to prevent technology leakage, a self-destruct program that automatically activated when intrusion was detected, and even ethical constraints on the number of copies. Humanancy mentions that the first emperor feared change and buried it, and now it seems that this mysterious record refers to the final sealing of this system. Professor Zhang said softly, as if afraid of waking the secret that had slept for 2,000 years. A month later, at a closed-door meeting in Beijing, Professor Chen, a bioethicist, looked around, his voice low and firm. We are once again facing the ethical dilemma of our ancestors. Technology itself has no good or evil. The key lies in how humans use it. 2,000 years ago, Qin Shihuang made his choice, and now this choice is in our hands. The meeting room fell into a long silence. That night, Mark stood alone in the museum exhibition hall. Moonlight streamed through the skylight, falling on the faces of the terracotta warriors. Those lifelike expressions, those frozen postures, seemed to be narrating a secret spanning time and space. He couldn't help wonder, are those sleeping warriors still waiting for a certain moment to awaken? And are we ready to face such a moment? In the distance, a faint light seemed to flash in the eye of a terracotta warrior, then quickly disappeared into the night. The Qin Shihuang Mausoleum, archaeological site, was silent late at night. Only the light from the duty room flickered faintly in the darkness. Suddenly, the data on the surveillance screen began to fluctuate violently. A set of eerie bioelectrical signals came from deep underground. Researcher Lee, on duty, rubbed his sleepy eyes. When he saw the data on the display, he instantly sobered up. Oh my God. He picked up the phone, trembling. Professor Cheng, they've started moving again. In 1974, Shaanxi farmers accidentally discovered Pit 1 of the Terracotta Army while digging the well. 50 years have passed, and puzzlingly, 70% of the explored area of the Qin Shihuang mausoleum remains unexcavated. A military top-secret document leaked in 2022 Mount Lee Project Risk Assessment revealed a chilling truth. This was not due to limitations of funding or technology, but a deep fear of the terracotta warrior activation mechanism in the dust-covered records of the archives. Eerie reports tell spine-chilling story. The 12th of August, 1979, a muggy night. 3 terracotta warriors quietly changed their postures under the moonlight. The guard on duty that day was rushed to the hospital. It was said his hair turned completely white overnight. The archaeological team had to backfill the pit overnight and strictly seal off the news. The 3rd of April, 1986, instruments detected abnormal bioelectrical signals. The frequency of those signals was surprisingly similar to human brain's theta waves. The emergency installed electromagnetic shielding device made these signals temporarily disappear. The 27th of November, 1994, a terracotta warrior being restored. Its finger moved slightly before the expert's eyes. All restoration work was immediately stopped, and that terracotta warrior was isolated for observation for an entire year. May 19, 2007, infrared imaging captured unidentified heat sources within the terracotta warriors' bodies. After injecting liquid nitrogen, those heat sources gradually disappeared, But since then, these heat sources would reappear every full moon night. The 1st of September 2016, acoustic detection equipment captured a rhythm similar to a heartbeat. Even more terrifyingly, these heartbeats were synchronized, as if thousands of terracotta warriors were engaged in some mysterious resonance. These are not simple clay sculptures, wrote Professor Zhang, the project leader, in an encrypted internal report. They are quantum state life forms in a dormant state, and most unsettlingly, they seem to be waiting for something. After years of research, scientists gradually unveiled the possible mechanism for the activation of the terracotta warrior. Each terracotta warrior is a node in a quantum entanglement network, obtaining energy through the star core reactor at the center of the underground palace. Their bodies are a special bioceramic composite with astonishing self-repair capability. The most dangerous thing is their collective consciousness field. Once the number of terracotta warriors unearthed at the same time exceeds 8,000, or when stimulated by specific frequency sound waves, or when the surrounding oxygen concentration reaches 19%, these sleeping warriors may awaken, and certain specific lunar solar terms also seem to increase the risk of activation. The mysterious record in Records of the Grand Historian ordered craftsmen to make mechanical crossbows and arrows, and anyone approaching would be shot, was originally not a simple anti-theft mechanism, but a safety system to prevent terracotta warriors from accidentally awakening at key positions throughout the mausoleum. The most advanced suppression systems are deployed. Full spectrum electromagnetic shielding devices operate day and night, blocking 80% of abnormal signals. Precise temperature control systems maintain the temperature within the range of 15 degrees Celsius plus minus 0.5, which reduces activity by 93%. Special inert gas is continuously injected, enhancing the latest developed quantum interference device attempts to distort local space-time, but the success rate is only 47%. The most reliable protective measure is a nanoscale special protective film, but the cost of this technology is astonishingly high. More importantly, there are 3 emergency plans. Alpha protocol used to handle small-scale activation events, primarily employing rapid freezing technology. Beta protocol, activated in the event of a mass awakening, completely isolating the entire area. Omega protocol, this is the last resort. Once activated, the entire underground palace will be permanently sealed. At a late-night expert discussion meeting, Professor Wang said in frustration, "We are like racing against time. Those quantum locks cannot be safely released. Consciousness suppression technology is not yet mature, and the energy of the star core, we simply cannot completely shield it. Even more tangled are the ethical issues. Do we have the right to awaken these warriors who have slept for over 2,000 years? If they really wake up, how should modern society face them? We are facing not just an archaeological issue," wrote Director Wang of the Ethics Committee in a confidential memo, but a major choice that could change the course of human civilization. Beneath the surface calm of multiple international projects are secretly underway. A joint US-China Project Terracotta, attempts to crack the quantum encryption. NATO's Operation Sleeping Giant is evaluating possible military implication. At the UN-led Initiative 221 BC is developing the relevant ethical framework. Research has found that the DNA of the terracotta warriors is highly matched with modern Han Chinese. The ceramic material in their bodies contains unknown catalytic enzymes, and the seemingly decorative pigments actually have photosensitive properties. Most unsettlingly, those bronze weapons remain terrifyingly sharp after over 2,000 years. Whenever night falls, standing on the plaza wonder, are the warriors underground truly waiting for a certain moment? If one day they really awakened, will it be a blessing for humanity or the beginning of disaster? As the military reports final meaningful warning stated, Mount Lee is not an archaeological site, but an armory filled with wound-up weapons. And the most terrifying thing is, you don't know when these weapons will be activated. Professor, you have to see that. On an early morning in early 2024, the young researcher Xiaowang rushed into the laboratory, clutching the latest quantum scan report in his hand. His mentor, the renowned archaeologist Li Ming, was studying the facial features of a terracotta warrior. This is impossible. Professor Li stared at the report, his voice trembling slightly. Checked the data again, but the data was correct. The secret of the unique face of each of the over 8,000 terracotta warriors was finally revealed. These exquisite facial details were not crafted by artisans, but were directly copied from living warriors through a mysterious soul scan. Under the special spectrum of the laboratory, the face of a terracotta warrior emitted a faint fluorescence. Professor Li gently stroked the delicate textures as if he could feel the breath of that warrior from over 2,000 years ago. Look here. He pointed to the position of the terracotta warrior's temple. These are not ordinary lines, but a physical mapping of quantum state characteristics. Every wrinkle, every pore is a perfect copy of the warrior's life information. In a corner of the laboratory, a large piece of equipment was running. This was the most advanced quantum scanner of modern times. But next to it, the model of the soul scanner, reconstructed by the archaeological team, appeared exceptionally mysterious. The bronze components shone with a strange light, according to the unearthed bamboo slips. The process of making a terracotta warrior was far more complex than imagined. Each warrior had to pass through a mysterious face room. There, star quartz energy would scan their entire body, not only replicating their appearance, but also capturing their consciousness fluctuations. This is not sculpting closed-door meeting. This is bioquantum holography from the 3rd century BC. What they created were not statues, but containers for life. Every subtle movement of the facial muscles, every micro-expression caused by a thought fluctuation was forever frozen in the clay. Quantum randomness during the scanning process ensured that each copy was unique. Deep inside the laboratory, in a row of specially made petri dishes, scientists were studying samples extracted from the terracotta warriors' faces under the electron microscope. Those seemingly ordinary clay particles showed shocking structures. Abnormal carbon-based quantum dots were arranged neatly, forming a network similar to neurons. Even more incredibly, these structures still maintained a weak bioelectrical field. Look, researcher Wang pointed to the display screen. These lines perfectly match the bone scars found in the Qin army tombs. The match is 92%. This cannot be a coincidence. In a dusty archive box, the archaeological team discovered a batch of Shui Qin slips. Several mysterious records among them attracted the experts' attention. Capture the soldier's face. 3 days complete. This indicates that scanning a warrior took a full 3 days. Pottery workers receive images, all with eyes closed. The artisans making the terracotta warriors had to work with their eyes closed, possibly to avoid interfering with the transmission of the quantum state. During the kill change, hear human voices. During the firing process, human voices could actually be heard. One late night, when Professor Li was the only one left in the laboratory, he decided to make a bold attempt. He placed a terracotta warrior in a quantum entangled state. Suddenly, the instruments began to vibrate wildly. My God, he stared at the display screen. These terracotta warriors, they still maintain quantum correlation with each other. Even more astonishingly, from the patterns on the terracotta warriors' faces, scientists decoded complete combat memories, emotional patterns, and even language pronunciation characteristics. These ancient warriors seem to have sealed their entire lives in these seemingly simple patterns. Under the lights of the museum, the faces of those terracotta warriors seem to be telling something. They are a sleeping army of immortals, each face carrying the life information of a real warrior. This is not just an archaeological discovery. Professor Lee wrote in his diary, "This is the first evidence of humans achieving consciousness immortality." Those pre-Qin scientists had already mastered technology that we cannot fully understand even now. And the most unsettling question is, do these dormant consciousnesses still exist? If one day they awaken, how should we face these souls from 2,000 years ago? As Professor Ma, an archaeologist, said, every terracotta warrior is a time capsule, sealing not just the appearance of a warrior, but a complete life. And we